What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the homestead. It has been a while since I shared a video, so I'm just gonna jump right in. We have been working on the greenhouse. It's almost done. Once it's done, I will share a compilation of short clips and videos of the process of doing that. But in the meantime, let me take you on a mid-June garden tour. So I will give you guys a little bit of an update of what's been going on since my last video. And I think the last video is Dolly's birth. So anyway, changed in what's continuing, what's not continuing. So we have decided to go mainly with Nubians. As far as the goats go, we rehomed most of our dwarfs. So Polly and her triplets, all of Honey's babies, all of Piper's babies, and Dolly and her baby as well. So they are all in a new home, and we are still looking for a proper home for Miss Wendy back there. And the reason being is milk. The dwarves, while yes, you can get, they are considered a miniature dairy breed. However, the amount of milk that our family goes through in a week, in a day really, along with the soap making and having enough milk for making cheeses and all those other things that I want to do with the goat milk, the dwarves aren't cutting it. So therefore we are going with a Nubian. So if you follow us on Instagram, you will know this here is Miss Coco. Yes, hello pretty thing. She is our Nubian. She kidded early January. No, it was late January. So earlier this year she kidded and she had twins. She had a buckling and a doeling. We retained her doeling. Her name is Rose. There she is. And we rehomed the buckling. Oh, and Millie. So backtracking here, Millie also went like as a backyard milk goat for a small family. So we've decided to go full tilt with Nubians, and I'm trying to focus on really good genetics as my starter herd, and I'm finding it really hard to find stuff that is less than 6% related to each other. Ideally, I'd like it if there was like no relation whatsoever. So I have a buck who I picked up. We actually went for a really long drive. My husband and I and the kids, we went 4 hours and picked up our buckling and a yearling. Hey ladies. So Coco, she's herd queen currently, and this is Miss Kiwi. She is from a very well-bred line, a great milker. Like that's her mom is a great milker, and I saw the farm that she came from, and the breeder was really great to work with, and I'm really pleased with the way Miss Kiwi looks, like her structure, everything. She has really good body composition. I think that's the word I'm looking for. I'm not a goat expert. I'm just a wannabe, I guess. I don't know. But she looks really great, and I'm really pleased with her. And they're very brown, if you've noticed. And I'll take you around to the buck pen so you guys can meet Pickett. So here's Chuck, our dwarf guy. And there is Mr. Pickett. So what's cool about Pickett is He has genetics from the Netherlands. So the original breeder imported semen from the Netherlands and AI'd her doe for Mr. Pickett. So anyway, that is how we got a very unrelated buck. And that is really ideal for a small homestead because I don't want to have to worry about housing a million different bucks. Bucks are rough and I don't necessarily care for their aroma. If you know, you know. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the garden tour. Now, in a previous video I did share we plan to put a fence here with an arch, but for the time being we don't have that. Now here is my herb garden, and I found all these rocks around the yard as a border, and I plan to do the rocks around this patch as well. Currently this is mostly medicinal herbs and herbs that I can use in soaps. I can dehydrate them and powder them, put them as colorants or just as different medicinal uses in my soaps. And then right here I just have cucumbers and lettuce and some wormwood. Wormwood is an excellent herbal dewormer, like a natural dewormer for humans and animals alike, but I decided to grow a lot of it this year because I want to make a nice big batch of my own herbal dewormer. A great friend of mine has a really good herbal dewormer that I have used in the past. Just for the sake of being a little bit more self-sustainable, I want to try to do my own. I've been doing a lot of my own research on which herbs are great for deworming purposes, and it's nice and convenient when you can just figure it out on your own and you don't have to bother your friends and family for stuff on the side. My vision here is I want to put pea stones or beach rocks in here on this path and into the greenhouse. I'll do a full tour of the greenhouse when we're done with it. But as of right now, this small row, there is 5 plants, and these are watermelons. I will be letting them grow wild into the orchard area. And in this row, we have snap peas, shell peas, and green beans. This row, we have some broccoli and some peppers back here. I have a mix of bell, super shepherd, and jalapenos, and along with some wormwood in here because it's also a pest deterrent. My next row right here is I have a kale plant, celery, and the rest is flowers. There's a mix of foxglove, zinnias, and some hollyhocks. The reason why I decided to have flowers right down the middle is because 1, they attract pollinators, and 2, the flower beds that I let my daughter take over last year, I used them for potatoes this year, and I promised her she could have a row of flowers. Next up, this is wormwood, calendula, and tomatoes. A mix of black crim and moneymaker. They're all heirloom seeds that I saved from previous years. And then here we have spinach, and there's a couple of volunteer potatoes that were in here from last year. And then the rest is onions. Now, if you didn't know, with seed saving is a really cool thing, especially if you've been saving seeds for generations and passing the seeds down. Like I forget which YouTuber I follow, which homesteader I follow. She does that, and I can't remember what she does. Hold on, there's something. What is that? See that thing bouncing up and down in the field? What is that thing? It's kind of creepy. It's Bill Gates watching me. That's what it is. Anyway. Okay, so heirloom seeds. If you save seeds for many years, say year one, you buy some heirloom seeds and it produces really well, but that year you had a beautiful year. Lots of rain, lots of warm days, just a wonderful garden season. And then the following year, you don't. So you save seeds from year one. Then year two, you have a drought. So your plants become a little bit more resilient to drought in year two. So then you save seeds from year two and you plant year two seeds in year three. Now year three, your plants will be more drought tolerant. And say year three, you have a very wet year and you have a hard time keeping them from drowning. Now you save year three seeds, plant them year four. Now year four will have a stronger, more resilient plant against drought and excess rain. So I really like keeping my seeds and using them. And I've been using these same seeds. I think this is the third year in a row. And this year we've had a really dry year thus far. So I'm really excited that these plants will have that kind of stored in the seed DNA. So if you garden and if you're worried about GMOs and all that kind of stuff, it's really important that you save seeds because number one, it's an excellent skill to have. And number two, it just creates a more resilient plant in the long run. Anyway, back to the garden tour. So this is the bed of potatoes. So these are potatoes that I saved from last year. They were just like this little and we planted them. And now we have lots of green. And I'm thinking I'm going to add another layer to this bed and add more dirt to create like a double decker. Anyway, here we have lettuce and carrots. And there's some, I forget, gladiolas over there. Next, we have garlic and some cabbage. And here we have herbs. We have lemon balm, a mint right here. There's some lavender. A lot of it died last year, but 2 of them came back. So those are more resilient. So I'm going to try to save seeds from those 2 this year. And then we have some chamomile. And yes, I am letting it go to seed. I'm going to let it flop over because I really want, like I have this idea of this beautiful cottage garden that's just kind of like exploding. And then right here we have some feverfew. And there's some volunteer calendula from last year. And there's a dill that popped up. I don't want it in this one. More calendula and some weeds. Next, we have some cilantro that's going to seed, some dill that's going to seed, some parsley, yarrow, and more volunteer dill, and some basil from last year and summer savory. And in these little boxes that my son made for me, I actually let my daughter plant some flowers in there. There are some zinnias and some more hollyhocks in those beds. So on this side, yes, there's a lot of junk everywhere. Anyway, there's corn, there's some pumpkins, and a few different varieties of sunflowers. Now over here in a weed patch, these are our fruit trees. There's some apple trees. I think we have 4 of them, an apricot, a plum, and some blueberries that are dying, but I think we're just gonna actually rip that out and add more apple trees or peach trees, we'll see. And then we have our strawberry patch. Strawberries are just coming into season now, and once they're done bearing fruit for the year, our plan is to actually dig them all up and put So anyway, that wraps up our garden tour and a little bit of my spiel of what's going on. My phone died, so I'm currently borrowing Jake's phone to finish the rest of this video. But anyway, that is it for my garden tour for June. I'm gonna try to do a monthly update. I'm always kind of disappointed in myself that I don't get a weekly video up, but I have 5 kids. Life happens. So hope you can understand and not be too disappointed. But anyway, I am going to finish watering my garden now. And yes, that is an upside down bike. I use that to keep the goats out of the garden right there where the cucumbers and lettuce are, while I transfer them from that pen to that pen. And once my greenhouse is up and running, I will do a full video and a tour of that beauty over there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and hopefully I will catch you on the next one.